Why am I doing what I'm doing today, which is an epidemiologist who specializes in vision research? Well, this isn't something that if somebody had told me as a kid, this is exactly where would end up. I don't know that that was the path that I had in mind as a child, but I knew that I was always interested in medicine. I was always interested in health. My father was a radiologist, and I used to go to his office with him, and he would show me pictures of the x-rays as he was looking at them on the film, and he would point things out to me, and I always found it fascinating. And I was always interested in health of populations, but I didn't know where I might be able to fit that in, fit my interests in populations and health and medicine. I always knew I would go into some field of medicine or something that was health related. And when I was finishing college, I thought I might be interested in public health, didn't know exactly what that meant. And I was able to meet someone named Abraham Lilienfeld, who was the chairman of the Department of Epidemiology at Hopkins. And he was somebody who loved what he did. He said society paid him to do what he loved to do. And he was able to explain how you could apply a methodology or a technique of looking at populations of people, looking at risk factors for disease, and really being able to make a difference in larger questions. I had worked on a dissertation topic for my PhD in epidemiology for a year and a half, and that was something that fell through. So I had to scramble and find something else pretty quickly. So I ended up talking to people in the Department of Epidemiology at Hopkins, where I was a graduate student, and there was someone there who had recently come from the National Eye Institute as a visiting professor, and he had just completed a population-based study on eye disease in Framingham, Massachusetts. And he said that there really was not a lot that had happened, that had been done, a lot of research that had been conducted on the epidemiology of eye diseases at that time. And my advisor, Abe Lilienfeld, had said that there had been a lot done in the area of epidemiology of cancer, of heart disease, of diabetes, but there really had not been a lot done on the epidemiology of eye diseases. So it seemed like a new path to take. And this was at a time that there had not been a lot of work done. This was a newly developing field. So I started to talk to people in the Department of Ophthalmology, or the Wilmer Eye Institute at Hopkins, and started to follow up on leads from the Framingham Eye Study to look at risk factors for macular degeneration. So I was able to work with leaders in the field in ophthalmology, in the School of Public Health, and I was also able to get a pre-doctoral fellowship at the National Eye Institute through the help and guidance and mentorship of Rick Ferris. So I was really fortunate to work with leaders in the field at that time to develop a case control study. It was one of the first large case control studies to be done on an eye disease. And that led me into working with Christina Lesky at Stony Brook. When I finished my dissertation, I was offered a position at Stony Brook to help her build an eye epidemiology group. And one thing led to another, and here I am many years later, really continuing in this field. Blindness prevention is so important, and there's a lot more to be done. There's been a lot of progress over the years in these areas, but it's still a major public health problem. Wills Eye is an outstanding institution. I had not been thinking about making a change in my life. I had been involved with population-based studies and clinical trials in a variety of eye diseases as well as other conditions. And one day I got an email from a recruiter about a position, and I thought, well, this position is consistent with a lot of what I've done, but I really wasn't thinking of making a change. And I put it aside for a few days, and then I thought about it more, and I thought, well, maybe I ought to explore it. Wills Eye has an outstanding clinical reputation, and I don't know that much about it, but maybe there's an opportunity there for me to make a difference in a different way and to build on the expertise of Wills in the clinical area and in the educational area and try and help the people here move in a different direction and make it even greater than the outstanding institution it is. Well, in my spare time, and what spare time I have, first of all, I love cultural events. I lived in New York for many years, so I still go back to New York a lot. I love theater, I love concerts. I try and take advantage of that in Philly as well. I love spending time with friends and family. I'm originally from Baltimore, so I have family in Baltimore, so I am up and down the East Coast. And one of the things that I really enjoy doing is a lot of adventure travel and various types of travel. So I haven't had a lot of opportunity for that in the 8 months that I've been here, but I have some good trips coming up, and I've been fortunate to have some really amazing adventure travel trips.